The members of the cross-country team that are here, please stand. They have practice today at noon, so we wanted to get this away. First off, they came in second last weekend at the regional at Oberlin. Kevin McCarthy won the regional championship, and we had 4 cross-country runners that were named all-region status, and they will all compete on Saturday at Wisconsin Oshkosh. So let's give a hearty round of applause to the cross-country team. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and welcome the Monon Bell. Speaking today in chapel is Dr. Tobey Herzog. Herzog is a graduate of Illinois Wesleyan and received his PhD from Purdue. He is a Vietnam veteran, an honorary Sphinx Club member, and serves as commissioner of the Noon Basketball Association. And he asked me to let you know that they were able, through collective bargaining, to get the players and teams to come together. And while the National Basketball Association will not be playing this season, the Noon Basketball Association still will. Herzog has spent 35 and a half years teaching at Wabash, and this past year was named an honorary alumnus of the college, giving his talk titled, "A Teacher Becomes Student," and brother, what I learned from the class of 2011 is Dr. Herzog.
Good morning, gentlemen. Great, that's good, I like that. Okay, let me briefly explain the title. Believe it or not, teachers do learn from students. Good things and bad things, directly and indirectly. And I want to talk today about some of the things that I've learned from students, particularly the class of 2011. I'll explain that a little bit later. I'll also explain a little bit later the reference to brother in the title. But first, a story that wasn't originally part of this talk. But it's a classic Wabash story about my learning curve as I experienced all 4 parts of our mission statement embodied by Wabash students, but not in our traditional tall, T-A-L-L order. So picture this. It's Wabash Community Day, October 29th, this past October. On this day, a group of Wabash alumni, faculty, and students gathered to complete projects in the community. I and 5 other students traveled to the Lew Wallace study. You know who Lew Wallace is, right? Author of Ben-Hur, Civil War general. We do have his study in the heart of Crawfordsville. You need to visit it. So we were there. And at the study, the 5 of us divided into 3 groups. One group, 2 students, winterized picnic tables. I and 1 other student were picking up tree limbs. And 2 students were filling in a hole from an archaeological dig. And at this point, I need to explain something. On the grounds of the Lew Wallace study, U of Indy archaeology students do a dig every spring and fall. It's the same hole. I don't know. They haven't figured out that they can move to other places. But it's the same hole. They dig the hole looking for artifacts. And then after it's done, the hole has to be filled in with the dirt, and then they come back and dig it all out again. Doesn't seem to be a lot of critical thinking going on there or good time management. Anyway, our students, the five students, were demonstrating the fourth principle of our mission statement, living humanely. Now, let us focus on the two students filling in the hole using shovels and two very ordinary rakes provided by the director at the Lew Wallace study. Midway through what admittedly was the most physically demanding of the three tasks, the students broke the rakes. Here is where letters T and L1 of the mission statement come into play. One of the students, thinking critically and leading effectively, decided that the best course of action would be to toss the broken rakes into the 1/3 filled hole and simply cover them up with the remaining dirt. And, unbeknownst to anyone else, that is exactly what the two students did. So, think of the implications here. When the U of Indy students return in the spring and once again begin to dig out that same hole, a stunning find, Lew Wallace's rakes, the ones he used in the late 1800s to rake his grounds. Headlines would be in all the newspapers. Lew Wallace raked his yard while writing Ben-Hur. Think of the emerging reinterpretations of his piece of historical fiction, Ben-Hur. Think of the emerging focuses as scholars seek to find rake images in the book, or suggest that yard rakes are symbols for Christ. Lew Wallace scholarship would be changed forever. Okay, so rakes are in the hole. Students are busy filling the hole with dirt. Jump forward about 20 minutes as the work finishes and the director of the Lew Wallace study starts searching for the ground rakes. They simply can't be found. No one seems to know where they are. Jump forward another 20 minutes. The students assemble, the 5 students assemble at the car without me. And while gathering around the car, they discuss the morning's activities. At this point, as I was told minutes later, the story about the broken rakes came out. The gentleman's rule was invoked, and the critical thinking leader of the rake episode acted responsibly by finding the Lew Wallace study director and explaining the situation. All ended well. The rakes were old, and the director commended the student for confessing. Nevertheless, the rakes are still buried until the U of I students arrive in the spring, unaware of the great archaeological mystery that is about to unfold. But once again, I had learned something valuable, although in a very unusual way, about how our students act out the mission statement in the real world. Now to the real subject of my talk, on my lessons learned and reinforced through my interacting with the class of 2011. Picture something that as students, all of you have experienced. It's freshman Sunday evening during freshman orientation, dinner at your advisor's home or with your advising group at a local restaurant. A little over 4 years ago, 15 young men were sitting on the porch of the Herzog home on just such a Sunday evening in late August 2007. I was their freshman advisor and also the instructor for our freshman tutorial on the art, architecture, history, and politics of Chicago. Understandably, awkwardness, shyness, nervousness were present among all the students. There were also visible divisions into small groups. The football players in one group, the basketball players in another group, various pledges and independents grouped according to their living units, and a few silent individuals on the fringes who didn't seem to be part of any group. For 11 of those 15 students, 4 of the students would depart the college during or at the end of their freshman year. This evening marked the beginning of the relationship with each other and with me. Over the next 4 academic years, these 11 students with a variety of majors remained as my advisees for their entire Wabash career. During this lengthy time together, in our tutorial, other classes I taught, registration conferences, casual conversations, or my attendance at campus events they participated in, I got to know them very well and watched them come of age. But in the process, through them and from them, I learned lessons about young men, about college education, about life's struggles, about the ethos of Wabash College, and about myself, including the joys and trials of mentoring sons. I want to share with you a few of these specific lessons. No hierarchical order, just some random lessons I learned through the experiences of these 11 men. First, fear of failure and embarrassment is a great motivation in writing a paper 1 hour before it's due. This chapel talk is an illustration of this lesson learned. Number 2, Wabash provides a fresh start for its incoming students. You can leave your high school identity behind and reinvent yourself. The high school jock becomes a member of the Glee Club, or the indifferent student becomes a committed scholar, or the macho man reads and writes poetry. Number 3, students do often take full advantage of the liberal arts opportunities, matching a major in Division I with a minor in Divisions II or III. There is a satisfaction in taking an array of courses, being challenged in new ways, and establishing the foundation for becoming a lifelong learner. There's considerable value in studying off campus or taking courses with an immersion experience. 4, Wabash isn't easy, but it is worth it. Transferring after a freshman year to a so-called easier school and an opportunity for a so-called better social life may lead to an eventual transfer back to Wabash because the student understands the value of the education and challenges this college presents to its students. 5, it's okay for faculty and students to be friends outside the classroom. It's even okay to play basketball together in the Noon Basketball Association, but you have to let me shoot. Each brings important contributions to such a relationship. Faculty and students each learn from the other. 6, young men often welcome advice and act on this advice. A revelation to me as a father, raising 2 sons who during their college years didn't seem to particularly welcome advice or seem to listen when it was given. 7, at Wabash, you can find your faith and find ways of demonstrating this faith each day. It's okay to be religious. 8, you may arrive at Wabash as an athlete student. Note, athlete student. But you may leave Wabash as simply a scholar, or as our new basketball coach, Antoine Carpenter, likes to say, a scholar athlete. 9, sport teaches humility. It does build character and can, on occasion, unite a college. 47-0. Enough said. 10, dropping a class during the semester may later cause more problems than staying in the class, including screwing up your graduation, leading to taking extra classes. So think critically before dropping a class. And missing class can cause even more problems, including costing you money. For each Monday, Wednesday, Friday class you miss during the academic year, you have wasted $95. For each Tuesday, Thursday class missed, you have wasted $142. This lost money adds up fast. So do the missed knowledge and classroom experiences. 11, as a second semester senior, needing to pass a final exam to graduate, don't tell the professor before the exam that the course was boring and you didn't read the textbook during the entire semester. That is, by the way, a real story. The good news is he passed the exam. He did graduate. 12, there is no one right path to succeed at Wabash. You have to be independent enough to find the path that works for you. Carve out your own identity and space, whether it's in shout, on the ultimate Frisbee pitch, in your living unit, or in the theater. 13, after graduation, don't measure the value of your 4 years at Wabash by the prestige or lack of prestige of your first job or graduate school acceptance. And for some of our students, their final GPA may not be an accurate indicator of their education in the classroom and in life. Don't leave Wabash with a sense of entitlement. Leave Wabash with a sense of purpose and commitment. 14, as the admissions materials boast, Wabash can change a student's life in a very positive way. But the student must be engaged with all aspects of Wabash life to experience this change. 15, Wabash has a lot of overachieving students, which is a tribute to the college and to the type of young men we recruit. Don't waste your talents as an underachiever. They are also present on this campus. 16, take pride in the fact that you are part of a very select group of young men graduating from a selective men's college. Relish the fact that you have developed, as Greg Castaneous noted in a previous chapel talk, intimate and long-lasting relationships with other men forged by the crucible of Wabash College. Those are just a few of the many lessons I learned and were reinforced for me through my interaction with these 11 advisees. Now, another Wabash scene. 3.5 years later, after that Sunday evening of freshman orientation. During the last week of classes in the spring of 2011, my 11 senior advisees gathered at my home once again, this time to celebrate their approaching graduation. And I was about to learn my final lessons. No longer were they separated into self-selected groups or off in a corner by themselves. The nervousness, awkwardness, and tensions were gone, replaced by the ever-present Wabash swag. Note, I promised my freshman comp students that I would work this word into the talk. They promised to applaud if I did. Laughter and conversation flowed freely among all of us. I was proud of them all, from the 2 Phi Beta Kappas to the students with the borderline GPAs, from the student whose high school graduating class was 64 seniors, to the student whose high school graduating class was 650 students, from the students who came from Indianapolis to the 2 students who came from Mississippi. They had survived this place and flourished in their own very distinct ways, choosing from the myriad offerings of Wabash College, overcoming bad choices, flourishing from good choices, reaching many of their goals expressed 3.5 years earlier, dealing with the inevitable disappointments of college life. But they all had taken important steps in learning what it means to be a man and a gentleman. And most important, no longer were they fraternity men or independents, pre-meds or English majors, football players or members of the Glee Club. They were part of something much greater. They were first and foremost Wabash men. Over our 4 years together, they had taught me that a great college can turn men into something they never thought they could aspire to be. They also taught me that I could have a meaningful role in that journey. As a result of this journey together, on October 1st, 2011, I became an honorary alumnus of Wabash College, the greatest honor I could ever receive. I had the opportunity to select the class of 2011 as my Wabash graduating class. So now, for these 11 Wabash graduates of the class of 2011, I am not just a teacher or an advisor or a friend. I am a Wabash brother. Thanks to them and to you, the current students of Wabash, for what you teach me during each of my days at Wabash. Wabash always. Thank you.
Some announcements. First, we're going to do a picture for those who have started growing mustaches. Yes, I have, if you turn the light on the steps of the Sparks Center after this so we can taunt our colleagues at Hampton-Sydney and Morehouse. So please join us over there. If there are members of the football team here in attendance, please stand. John Holmes down front, Brent Warner. Luke. They play against the Blue Boys of Illinois College on Saturday at noon. Let's give them a round of applause and wish them luck. Friday and Saturday night, the swimming team is hosting the Patrick Wonker Memorial Invitational. Again, cross country is competing at the national championships. Football is home against Illinois College, and basketball tips off its season on Saturday at 4 o'clock against St. Joe's Calumet. On Sunday, basketball also competes against the University of St. Francis. Please rise and sing Old Wabash.